open. Wild like a pumpkin when the gate open. Flying like a parakeet when the cage open. Everybody get mad when the place open. The place, I can't wait for Juve to wind on in the grass. If you compete better, go in and wind on in your class. If the costume is stand up, put it fine down on the mask. Everybody jump out, I know what it costs. Wow, as if when you open, man, I kill like an absurd. Picking everything from off the ground like I's a blackbird. Everything I have with carnival getting a one turn. Everything is real, nothing is Photoshop or doctor. That time again, wall climb again. Tell me friend, we ready for hard line. Whether in pitch, whether in soil, whether in paint, whether in oil, we go hard like the green thing in the foil.
Hey, chap don't miss. We don't take disrespect and so chap don't miss. No bottom feeder, no, chap don't kiss. You're asking too much question, no, what is this? What is this? Don't raise your voice. You're out of order, not a very smart choice. Don't make me call out all them jab boys who rolling heavy with them jab toys. Lower your
vibes up on a million, let them know. Anytime you try, tell we come. Wreck it for you and wet it up like falling rain. Remember we take the water and wet it up like falling rain. Remember we take the water and tell them that we balling safe. Remember we take the water and wet it up like falling rain. Remember we take the water and spend this menu in a waterland. Dash it up. Take the waterland. Dash it up. Take a bucket and dash it up. Take the waterland. Jesus, look at people behavior. Jesus Christ, mother walk, look at people behavior. We getting on man, we up in your area. When you see we coming, you know it's danger. We better than you and all of your neighbor. And we no afraid nothing. We no afraid nothing. We no afraid nothing. How we no afraid nothing. We no afraid nothing. We no afraid nothing. We dangerous. Everybody running fast. So make sure mash up first. We serious. We devious. And then the way we do it. Java music. Jesus Christ, mother walk, look at people behavior. We getting on bad, we up in your area. When you see we coming, you know it's danger. We better than you and all of your neighbor. And we no afraid nothing. We no afraid nothing. We no afraid nothing. How we no afraid nothing. We no afraid nothing. You make this start. We dangerous, let the madness start. Everybody afraid about somebody to mash up first. We serious, we devious. And
Code
every
red.
we do we shouting. Wait, the party mash up the party shell. Problem just skinny for below. Shall not, the party shell flat. Boy, we don't have no behavior inside this time. All the girls them bend back. Hell that. Find anything, put it on. We have energy to mash it up. We get it on bad. We don't give a one. Jesus Christ, mother walk.
Hey Kasey, how you doing?
Morning.
Well, morning for you, afternoon for us. How you doing?
All right.
Just
rush over to the studio here. These are not my hours, so.
He's like, these are not my hours.
So I'm trying.
I appreciate you trying, my brother. I appreciate that because I know it's not easy to wake up early, especially like you said, them is not your hours. So thank you for being a guest.
Problem.
On the People's Chat Room. We are live on iTunes Radio with rebroadcast this evening on Soca Passion TX and tomorrow on islandbeatradio.com. You have been, you know what? Before we even start talking, I'm going to put Code on the spot. You get to pick anything you want, and because he's got a whole barrel full of stuff that he's produced, you get to pick whatever you want and have some fun with it till we start to talk. What do you say?
You're sure you want me to go that way, right?
Yeah, sure.
You sure?
Yeah,
all right. You sure? All right. We're going to start with this one.
Oh, bacchanal. Oh, bacchanal. Oh, I'm ready for it. Oh, bacchanal. Oh, I'm ready for it. Oh, bacchanal. Oh, I'm ready for it. Oh, bacchanal. Oh, I'm ready for bacchanal. 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 I'm ready for it. Bacchanal. 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 Yo,
So
You sure?
he reining it in.
All right,
So
yes.
so Kasey, let's talk beginnings. A lot of people don't know that, of course, Kenny Phillips is your dad. All
Right.
right. So let's talk about how this journey began. How many moons ago? Because I was telling we have a new addition to the crew, Derek. He's from Dominica, and I was telling him I know you're
Yo.
from. I've promised not to say it on the air, but I've known him since he was a little kid. He laughs. So talk about the beginning.
Wow. Beginning. I guess it all started from my dad, Kenny Phillips, and him being in music, still in music today, and it
Yes,
started
he
from
is.
me being born into the studio, crawling in the studio, looking on, kind of watching what's going on. And this was when I was still in Pampers, I would say. Um, and then slowly graduating to when I could walk, then I could start going and pressing knobs and spoiling stuff. And that kind of went on from there to now experimenting and trying to make beats and trying to see what this equipment could do, and still spoiling stuff along the way. And I guess in spoiling stuff, I started to learn how to fix the stuff because I had to call daddy and be like, yo, this not working. I think I break something. How to fix this? And I think that's where the whole troubleshooting and learning to operate the studio started. And doing beats, playing around, trying a thing. I think from there I did my first official song at 10, age 10, and then I think the rest of that just was history. It was just continuing from there to go on.
So let me ask you this question. Do you
Hmm.
think, and I'm just being real and honest, I'm probably saying out loud what some people may have thought, but I have a reputation of just going all in. Do you think that nepotism had a lot to do with this, or do you think that your hard work is what took you to the levels that you are now?
Hmm. Let me see how honest I could be with that. I wouldn't say nepotism. I mean, yes, I would have had a one up because I learned from my dad,
No longer
and
need that. Oh, well, no.
not everybody fortunate enough, thank the Lord, to be born with a studio in your house.
True that.
Some people will start on a laptop or something, or on a phone or iPad. So on that end, I would say yes, that's a plus. But I had to work my way up because clients would come in and my dad would leave me to work with them and they would laugh literally, like they'd be like, "You where your father?" I say, "Oh, he's sleeping. He leave me to run the session." They'd be like, "You sure?" I say, "Yeah, yeah, yeah, safe." But at this point, I know what I could do. But they watching me as a little youth man in my school uniform, and I had to kind of be like, "Yeah, yeah, don't worry." Yeah. But bet your bottom dollar by the end of that session, they convinced. And next session, and Daddy could tell you this, they're asking for me. They probably won't ask for him. So I had to prove myself. So it wasn't. I wouldn't use the word nepotism.
Well, and I know your father, as you know, really well. So I know Kenny. I mean, oh, good Lord, he ain't easy. So I know you, you had a good teacher. So now, Code put on Bacchanal. But what was
Yeah.
the song that really made it for you as far as, okay, that's when people really started paying attention? Which
Hmm.
song would it be, do you think?
Paying attention.
I want to say paying attention.
Ooh.
Everybody, artists from
Right.
around the world, not just Trinidad and Tobago, started
I
saying,
I
"Okay,
would say Bacchanal and that Antilles Rhythm
really,
did
Yes.
hold a very pivotal role. But there was stuff before that. It probably wasn't Precision Productions as yet, but there was stuff before that. Things like We Not Giving Up with Marshall. A lot of people don't know there's an original version of We Not Giving Up without Doggy Fresh. It wasn't the biggest one, but that was a start to even get to the Doggy Fresh remix.
well, he looking for it right now as we speak." So,
If he have that, I'll be impressed because
aha,
a lot of people don't even know.
you found it, good.
I stopped typing.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know that version. I would even say I could go all the way back to Trample Rhythm. A lot of the earlier Doggy Slaughter stuff like In My Blood, Pokey even, this is like old. This is when I just started to bubble. So this is, I think this is like foundation years. And then Antilles was like, okay,
That was the
precision.
door.
Precision.
Before
yeah.
it was just Kasey.
Okay, so back then, Precision wasn't born yet.
Right.
Was the Antilles rhythm the one that said, okay, let's call this thing something, because we out and bad now, so let's call it something, and hence Precision Productions?
No, I think Precision was a little before Antilles. Precision came about because I guess it was Kasey Phillips before. I was just doing this for fun. It was a hobby. And I think, as I always give this funny story, my mom said, you know what, go in the bank, try and get a loan, build your credit. You don't need it for nothing because I was still in school, but still try. At least you start building your credit and your rapport with the bank. And I went in and they laughed at me because I had $14 in my account because I wasn't passing money through. I don't know nothing about bank or nothing back then.
Yeah.
And that was when I was like, you know what, this can't work. I need to start doing something and make this serious. And that's how we end up branding and creating a company and identity to now say, okay, let's house all of this stuff under this.
That's when you started looking at the business approach to it.
Yes.
So good.
Pretty much.
So, Code, any of that he just said there, you could pull up any one of them tracks? Or you find at least one?
Yes. I find at least 5 to
pick
15,
one.
but I'll pick this one.
You remember doing this?
This is your song?
Yeah, this is my song. Song. Yeah, it was written by Star George. So let's
What
play
year was this?
Oh, good Lord.
Okay, no, I don't want to call all your ages. It's at least what,
2012? 2010?
20, yeah, at least
2012? Something like that. So I got to tell you, and this is me throwing you under the bus a little bit here. You know this guy, he's a music critic, Santi Manite. I don't know who he is, but he does.
Yes.
Okay. He critiqued this song, you know. I don't know if you know that.
Oh,
yeah.
really? Well, what was the feedback?
You really want to hear?
I think is this, I don't want to really call his full name, but I think I know who you're talking about, and me and him always would get into it over.
Okay, well, he threw you under the bus with this one. He said the vocals were on point. Fantastic vocals. Production, he overdid it.
Overdid what?
I can't remember the exact wording, but remember, those were your young days.
You wicked it, why you bring it up?
No, Kasey and I could have this conversation because that's where those were your young days. You know what I'm saying? But bottom line is,
things because I could say one thing. Where is he today?
Ooh.
I don't even know who it is, man. Who is it?
You see? Conversation done.
Conversation done.
Drop the mic. Drop the mic.
On to the next.
Right now you're in Cali. You've been in Cali for how many years now?
I would say approaching 6 years.
So you made that bridge from Caribbean music to what?
So how to even explain this? The move to Los Angeles, California was one. Well, I have to go back in the story to kind of explain this.
Yeah,
so Antilles Rhythm. Before Antilles Rhythm, myself and Nikolai, which was Precision back then, we did an internship in Los Angeles, and we were under some producers back then, some hip hop producers, hip hop R&B producers, and that was the first time we got to see the inner workings of what the mainstream industry runs. So, for example, I guess with your song, Lyma, which was rare, back then a lot of writers wasn't really selling songs. Every artist was writing their own songs and coming in the studio.
Pause for a cause. You know what I was telling Derek this morning? When you did Gimme More, which Nadia Batson wrote, back then Groovy Soca wasn't even a thing. Do you realize? You remember that?
Right.
Nobody was running to do Groovy Soca, but
this
I
was
did
before
it.
Michelle?
Yeah, man. This was in 2007.
Okay.
Yes, this was a while back, you know what I mean? But anyhow, fast forward to LA. I'm sorry, I just had to pop that in there.
Something that switched there. What was I saying?
You were saying that y'all did an internship, and during the internship,
so that's when we saw the inner workings of how the industry worked in the States, and we saw that they were just bringing in songwriters every day. Just songwriters. They're just pulling up beats, writing songs, and I was like, what's happening here? And then next week they'll bring in the artists. And the artists will sit down and choose the songs. You know, if let's say Jordan Sparks working on an album, She come in, she listen to 7 songs, she'd be like, I like number 2. They pull up the files, they pull up the acapella, pull up the beat, she record it right then and there.
Wow.
One line at a time. One time. Lyrics, let's go. And I was kind of like, but there's an assembly line.
That's what I'm
But-
thinking.
But what it showed us was that every person is a professional at what they do. Songwriters write, singers sing, producers produce, engineers engineer. And we didn't have that in a big way home yet. I know you got some songs from Nadia, but that was far and in between. It was just a few writers. You could count them on one hand.
Mm-hmm.
So leaving LA after that and going back home, you're like, all right, we're gonna start this songwriting thing. And I reached out. I remember drafting the email in my bed in LA at the time and be like, yo, I want to try this thing. And I reached out to like Earthfront, Full Blown, a few people, and we started getting songs, just songs, no artists. And Antilles was the first thing out of that, because it was kind of now let's focus on writing good songs first before we start to get the product out.
Mm-hmm.
And before it even reached the artist, let's get this song to be great before the artist even influence the song.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what started that whole revolution, and then Precision took off. But LA was always in my sights to get back there, but it just took me like 5 years to kind of get Precision settled, set up. But it's like, all right, I need to go back. And I say all of that to say the whole mission of LA was to now take this and expand in a mainstream market and bring the Caribbean music to a mainstream or even to the world.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I'm here, because a lot of the linkages, the brands, the companies, they right up the street from me.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas in Trinidad, I have to be emailing and calling and run out of my phone bill all the time, or jumping on a flight back and forth to have meetings. So it's like, oh, you're right there? Okay, yeah, come tomorrow. And it was just way easier. And I mean, the soca game and industry is one that's very it's stuck in a cycle, and
Oh, you're telling
I
me?
needed to move.
You're
I needed to
telling me?
move away
Yeah, nah.
from that.
Yeah, nah. So I see Code Red walking up to the mic. You have a question for him? Because we know it's stuck in a cycle.
No.
There's so many questions that pop in from that. Go ahead.
As a DJ, it's stuck in a cycle where we have what we say the top 40 songs, and it seems to be the same 10 artists over and over and over and over.
Right.
And
Right.
you know, you'll have other DJs, why you don't, play this? And the problem is the listening audience will stand up and watch you like, what is that? We don't know that. They only know the 10.
But
Exactly.
there's so many conversations that could be had with this. They're stuck in a cycle because, yes, they're being fed those 10 artists and music that comes from those 10 artists. But they're stuck in a cycle for many different reasons. I mean, payola,
All right.
that's still a problem, right? Pay to play. And not every artist have the amount of money to pay to play. Okay? But part of what you do in LA, talk to us about some of the other genres that you work with other than soca.
Right. Well, to be honest, I really grew up studying hip hop and Timbaland and Pharrell and rap a lot. So I always did that, and then I dabbled in soca. I grew up in soca. I know soca all my life.
Yeah.
But it's funny that you asked that, because there was a point when I moved, I was like, all right, soca, blessing her. It's been nice, but I ready to go. No, real talk. And
I know, because I remember during that time, I was talking, I stay in touch with your father all the time, and I remember we had a conversation about that Kasey done with that, So, yeah, I know.
Right. So that was really the plan, but I think it switched after somewhere around Antilles coming down there. It switched because I was like, wait, I guess back to the story, in building up in the 5 years before coming back to LA, I realized, wait, this thing actually kind of making sense. It's actually viable. I saw the stream starting to rise, the stream income starting to come in. I was like, you know what? This have a future. And I think if I stick with this, I could get it to reach somewhere. And I guess, as you get older, you start to say, you know what, this make more sense because this is me, as opposed to coming here trying to do hip hop, which is not me. Not saying I can't do it, but I didn't grow up in that. So it's a little more gratifying to take soca and make that work than come here and become a hip hop producer. Nothing wrong with hip hop, not knocking it, but become a hip hop producer known for that. It's kind of like, well, that's not where I was born. That's not what I was born doing.
Stay true
Stay true
to your roots,
Yeah.
pretty much, and
So I
expand
mean,
on
yes,
it.
I still dance in both lines, but I still trying to make the soca thing or infuse it or whatever it might be go global or to the world.
So I'm gonna ask Code to find another one that I absolutely love. It was by Voice Chairs to Life that you produced. And we're going to listen to it a little bit, and then we're going to talk about that and give us the backstory on that. And just
Oh
a
yeah,
little,
that have a story too.
Okay, see?
Na 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 na. Whoa, 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 whoa. Life is so good to me. Life is so good to me. Whoa, whoa, yeah. From your wake up this morning, you's a winner. Yeah, 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 yeah. From your wake up this morning, you's a winner. Yeah, yeah. Watch out, Jaja. Here we love and life now. Everywhere is vibes now. Whoa, I say watch out, Jaja. Bring woman so nice now. What more could I ask for? Beside a woman in front to go down and walk up she waist and get on and mind that she body can wind up no more. Cause life is short and tomorrow not sure, so I live like it's my last. Oh, drinks in me and now. Jump up and wave is the plan now. Just love and girl with the man now. Whoa.
Oh, God, I wanted to keep playing, but I know we got to hear the backstory because I'm nosy like that. So, what's the backstory on this song?
I think you went mute. You went mute. You're mute, sir.
Sorry.
Yeah.
There you go.
So Chase that I've actually came about from my younger brother Kyle Phillips. This is actually Kyle's beat. Yeah. Kyle, what was it? I can't remember the actual steps, but Kyle had the beat. I think he originally sent it to Cohen, or I sent it to Cohen. I can't remember, but the real song was Unforgettable. And that's Patrice and Cohen. That was a real song. That was what we were really doing. At that time, Voice was not on the radar for that project. I worked with Voice before with the Soca Star stuff and even some songs he had before that. But then I think he sent it to Cohen. Cohen had that song. We were like, all right, cool. But then he also sent it to Voice. I didn't know this. And he sent me, he's like, yo, I know we're doing this thing, but check out this Voice song too. I kind of like it. Check it. I listened to it. All right, okay, cool. They say, you know what? We could do the two. And again, Cohen's song is the song. Nobody, not saying we're not focusing on Voice, but it was kind of like at that point, it was kind of like, all right, we'll give Voice the blight and just put him on the B side with the real song, which is Cohen and Patrice. Not knowing when that
This one
come
will
out,
take off.
Cohen and Patrice was cool, but all of a sudden this
one,
just went AWOL.
Wow.
And that's his story. It was like, and I think that's really the kickoff that started Voice.
Yeah,
it
it
was
was.
wild.
It was.
What was
It
Voice? Was he a writer before?
No, Voice been an artist. I mean, he was writing with Full Blown back then on a lot of songs
Blown,
before,
Okay.
but he been an artist. I think he even had a collab with Marshall at a point. He had songs. He won Soca Star at a point back in the day too. So he was there bubbling. But this one really like
It took off.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
so if I understand the way Precision Productions, part of how it works, using the whole assembly line approach that you learned
Right.
when you all get the songwriters. You have which comes first, the songwriters and then the rhythm,
beat.
or the rhythm, then the
Yeah, 'cause
songwriters.
they need the beat. They need the beat to write to the song.
Then you create
They
it,
need
and
the beat
then
to
you
write the
bring
song,
in.
sorry.
Then you bring in the artist, or you shop this. You shop the.
Yeah, we shop the song, so we'll get. I'll make a beat, and I might get anywhere from 6 to 12 songs on this one beat, and then now we have to shave it down to be like, all right, this is not good. We could use this on something else. These are like these. Let me change some things, fix the choruses, which is an integral part that a lot of people don't do. They just take the songs from the writers and say, all right, cool. But they hate me for this, but I just go in. I'll be like, that pre, all right, that chorus, I feel need to change that word and maybe move that. They don't like me for that at all. They always call me, I don't like nothing. Just tell me I don't like nothing. But that's part of the process now. And when we get these songs, we say, all right, this good. We say, all right, this song in like A, B, C. Let's start shopping. A, you like this. A, you like this. A, you like this. And we see if we don't get the A one we'll go to the B and we kind of figure out that process.
But
If it's a
go ahead. If
then
it's
I'll a single, it's easier. When it's a rhythm, it's a little trickier because now you have to make sure on your rhythm you have a lot of variety, a lot of range. You can't have 6 whining songs on a rhythm. You want to have 2 whining songs, maybe a serious song, a girl song, maybe a what they call this, a more bacchanal song. You have to kind of make sure your rhythm have range. So it have a lot more science that go into it.
So my next question is this: do you already have the list of artists that you're going to shop it to, or it's like, okay, you just throw it out there, which I don't think you will do. I think you already have the list of artists that you're going to shop it to.
Sometimes these songs song like somebody. Naturally, they sound like somebody. You'll be like, this song like a Charles or a Marshall or a Patrice. It sounds like a female song. Sometimes, but sometimes when you send a song and you say, hey, this song ain't like you, the artist will be like, nah, I don't like that. That ain't feeling like me. Okay, cool. On to the next. And we gotta keep going. And that happens a lot of times. And also a lot of times some artists mightn't like it, but they'll do it. And they'll say, let me try this. And it work. Sometimes it fails. So it's one of those things where you kind of have to, it's a gamble. But you have to, I guess with the experience and knowing how to make the decisions, now we kind of have a good enough gauge. You know what, this song like you, this could probably work.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Code has a question.
I have a question. You mentioned it's a lot easier as a single than as a rhythm. Who or what goes into process to decide that a beat stays at a single or you shop it around as a rhythm?
Well, that's a good question because I think these days there's no decision process. It's just rhythm. For me, the beats kind of have to have some signature it factor in that beat. From the time you play, that's that beat, as opposed to just this song and like everything else. A rhythm. For me, a rhythm from the time you hear it, but also sometimes you don't know a rhythm. Something might be cool and you don't think it's a rhythm and you put a few songs on it work. But most of the times it have to have that kind of signature it factor. If you listen to Osaka, from the time you press play on Osaka, that is Osaka, Antilles. It have that signature. And then also it's a lot to do with the songs. I think it was born from getting back so many songs on these beats. You're like, I like all these songs. I don't want to just waste them or throw them away. So it's a few factors that kind of go into it.
Before Code puts on one of your many millions of songs, I want to ask this question. Do you work with new artists? And the reason why I say that, which is something I want to talk about on the other side of this particular, whatever song he pulls up, soca is stuck in wherever it is. And I want to talk about that just a little bit because I just want to. But do you work with new artists, or because all the people that you seem to work with is big name, middle name?
That's what you know, but that's not true.
All right, Kai. I almost call you Kyle.
Almost.
I almost call your brother name. I'm so sorry. But that's another question. Yeah, talk to me.
So I think, and I could back this up with history.
Go for it.
I try to, just like two things, just like what Code was saying, is the crowd, you still have a market and a target audience to please. So even though you want to do XYZ ABC, sometimes when you pull a cast, which is all unknowns or all new people, it doesn't play, right? So for us, I try to, have the big names, but I try to at least have one new artist on every rhythm. It don't always work, but most times I try. So for example, Front in Your Eyes was brand new on Antilles. Imani Ray on Your Bad was brand new. LFS on Osaka, which started that they were pretty much brand new. So we try to not all the time is work, and it's a gamble, it's a risk because sometimes they don't even play. They don't even see the light of day. But we try.
Well, thank you for sure telling me. So
No, because the effort in your eyes might have been one of the biggest
you got that?
songs on
Yeah,
on that rhythm.
that started her front career as
That
well.
started Ilfront career.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
know?
So now you get to pick.
I get to pick.
Let's listen and we talk on the other side.
Strictly local, so we vocal. Strictly local, hey, 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 hey. Shout, strictly local, so we vocal. Strictly, ready, shout. Are you ready for the soca? Sweet soul of calypso, soca. Are you ready for the soca? Ready, are you ready for the soca? Sweet soul of calypso, soca. Are you ready for the soca? Ready, shout. You can play where you want, listen where you want, but you can stop this week.
Okay, so that was your favorite.
But one of my many favorites.
One of your many favorites.
Many favorites.
But here now, so Kasey, let me talk about, and I'm really enjoying this conversation, just in case you
Same here.
didn't know,
Same here.
right? Let's talk about soca being stuck in a rut, because that's where it is. What do you think is one of the many reasons, or some of the many reasons that soca is stuck where it is and it can't seem to pull itself up?
Hey boy, we really diving in this topic.
Yeah, man.
Can I show we Trinis under the bus?
Go ahead, show me Trinis.
Trinis don't know soca.
I mean, Trinis don't know soca.
Easy. Because if you play a song from VI, if you play a song from Antigua, if you play a song from St. Lucia, majority of Trinidadians don't know it.
Okay.
Mm.
All right, so Kyle, why am I calling your brother's name? I am so sorry. I'm so
That's
sorry.
all right.
I'm so
So
sorry.
am I correct in one of those?
I understand what you're saying. Yeah. A lot of the small island people know more soca than the listening audience in Trinidad. But again, that's the media fault.
Okay. Okay.
It's getting better though. But all right, problem now. There's a loaded question. I'll go with one answer. I would say infrastructure. Because we have the music, we have the artists, we have the producers, we have the content, but we don't have the infrastructure for it to go anywhere. Meaning label backing or even an independent label backing to even market and push these things just beyond just being on YouTube, beyond just being on local TV. Like how we marketing this or pushing it beyond just that. Like how we getting in movies, games, who placing these things on even American radio. It need infrastructure, it need backing, it needs some brand or some entity to say, hey, we injecting some capital behind this, let's see where this go. Because if you look at it, soca is everywhere. I just saw the other Ibiza Carnival. There's Ibiza, Notting Hill, Miami, Atlanta, you name it, Orlando, come all the way down, Labor Day, LA, next to 3 weeks. There's a carnival everywhere, soca is everywhere. But yet we still considered underground music if you think about it. So it just needs infrastructure or somebody to take that gamble to say, or maybe on an artist, not even on a project, to say, hey, we signing this artist or we backing this project to push this and give it the same run, a similar run that a hip hop or a pop single will get.
But aren't there?
The iTunes.
I agree with you. Damn good point. But question, didn't Bungie and then do that at one time, or maybe I'm just mixing it up with something else?
There was a few. I mean, Kevin was signed, Rupee was signed, Galen had a deal, yeah. And it worked for what it was, but they never had, and I don't want to get no slack for saying this, so in my opinion, they didn't have strong follow-up songs, which is not their fault. I just think at the time they got signed, they didn't know what to do. Not them, but the labels didn't know what to do.
They didn't put together a real solid plan.
Yeah, and I'll ask you this. How do we market a soca artist? How does a soca artist look? How does a soca artist dress? Like, all these are valid points. How do we present this person as a soca artist? He can't wear coconut shirts and be on a beach dancing and drinking rum all day. So it's everything that comes into it. The look, the song, how we market them, how we position them, what brands do we associate with. Can't be Bacardi rum all the time.
True.
So I think back then they didn't really know what to do. It worked for them. I mean, Kevin Little is still touring off of Turn Me On to this day.
Yeah, Turn Me
Kevin
On is
Little
still a
was
big
in-
hit for him.
was in Rome singing "Turn Me On." So to me that was that's still a success. Now, if he had more follow-ups, great. I think now everything is in a better position, especially with Afrobeat reaching where it needs to reach and doing what it needs to do.
So here's the thing, okay, Kasey, that you just said a word, two words there, and that just made me like fizzle a little bit because I'm of the opinion, and I'm very opinionated. I'm sure you remember that Afrobeats to me is doing really really well, but it's also killing soca's chance for getting to where it needs to get because it's being stifled by Afrobeats. And I found out recently that there is a culture in Trinidad that promotes and creates Afrobeats that is strictly from Trinidad. So when that get to where it needs to get, what happened to soca? That's just me.
I could see why you would think that, but I think it's two different animals they're dealing with. Afrobeat is Afrobeat. Like you can't take that away. That is that. If you watch from everything, how they dress, how they talk, how they sing, how they dance, that is Afrobeat. Soca and Carnival is something completely different. if you look at it side by side, it's two different things. I mean, the most basic point I could give you is look at the continent of Africa and look at the Caribbean. It's two different sizes.
You're right.
Like the support is astronomical when you go to Africa.
Okay, the support. That's a key word, the support. Afrobeats is getting the support. There is a structure.
Not just from Africa.
Right.
Not just from Africa.
Well,
you know what I'm saying?
Remember the word I just said?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You gotta, I don't think, we've asked this question a couple times with other artists. And this is the first time I think we have a response that makes a whole lot of sense.
Right.
So kudos to you on that.
Yeah. I understand your point though, because it's very close, and a lot of people who don't know, who ignorant to the music, could just be like, well, this kind of song like Afrobeat and this Afrobeat song like soca. So they don't know the difference. But I think you could now, especially with Amapiano and these things, you hear a clear distinction of the music now. Our syncopations are different. How we ride the rhythms, our timing is different.
Okay, but again,
it's still a cousin to Afrobeat,
okay,
not taking anything away.
But again, it's not about the how it's the beats and how it's structured and all of that, and the nuances and the differences here or there. It's again the market, how it's marketed, and there's a major focus on marketing and pushing Afrobeats as opposed to the structure and the marketing for soca. It is not there.
To be honest, I think, and this is gonna sound bad or good, I think Afrobeat is the case study for soca, because I'll tell you, for me, back in the day, we were always on this hunt and fight to say, let's clean up the lyrics. Let's stop singing Jump and Wine. Let's start singing real songs. And then Tamaya will release Sanko or Shake Up Your Bum Bum, which is a freestyle, and be number one on the charts. And I was like, well, clearly we're not doing nothing wrong. So it kind of comes back to infrastructure and support. I think it only helps soca, because now we have a case study to tell a record label like, yo, this is working just so in its raw form. We just need somebody to take this gamble on this side. We already have dancehall that won. We already have Afrobeat that winning. It's only fair, and it's not even fair, but it's only right now to be like, all right, soca is next. Next. I don't think it's bad for soca at all. I think it's great.
I mean, we've been the struggle is real with soca. You know.
So I have to. In listening to you now, I believe you just debunked the theory that for soca to be popular, it has to be linked with a carnival. You just literally debunked that entire theory.
Linked with a what?
You debunked the entire theory
that soca is linked to a carnival.
Linked to a carnival.
Well, I didn't touch on that. That's a separate point. No, as it is right now, yes, it is. And I just think that's the nature of the beast. Just like, and this might sound very ignorant, just like, EDM is linked to EDC, Tomorrowland, Ultra. That's
Yeah.
what people release, and they want to go and perform to do that. Rock and roll or metal is linked to Woodstock, and I'm some kind of ignorant. But I'm trying to make my point.
Yeah, you're making a
That's
point.
Okay.
that is just what soca is. That's what we sell. That's what we have now. Now we have to figure out how to take it away from that and not pigeonhole
And
it to
transition
only
it to where
Yeah.
it needs, where we want it
but
to
use
go.
it as a marketing tool and say, hey, by the way, you have great music, but by the way, you could come to Carnival as well. That's just a bonus. Come
That's
and
just
enjoy
a
it, learn the
byproduct of the
culture,
whole thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
eat bacon
Yeah.
chop.
And it comes right back to what you were saying. Someone has to take it and structure it and in
Yes.
such a way where you can create
Yes.
all those avenues for soca.
Yes. So I understand code point. It is linked to the Carnival, but I think that's a plus. I think that's our selling point.
So we have one question here from Derek. He's our new addition to the
Sure.
team.
I feel like I'm on Shark Tank or something. and
No, you're giving good answers, so we gotta ask good questions. So the question is because I don't do music, I don't sing as an artist, and I want
Right.
to know where I draw the line between being industrialized, like what going to sell, and doing what my passion is, like doing because I used to be a gospel artist. Now I just doing inspirational music. So everything I sing have to lift up people.
Okay.
But that don't usually sell in a lot of world markets. So it's like, how do you draw the line between what I want the industry to accept to what they would actually put out there? Because then I have to
So
make money.
wait, so let me ask you this. I know you say gospel, but gospel is a very wide genre classification.
Right.
What type of music is it?
Well, the genre per se, I would say I do more Afrobeat, dancehall, reggae, soca.
Okay.
That's
you
a
say-
wide
and-
range,
and-
right?
and-
Yeah, that's
And the issue you're
all over.
having is you're trying to stay to your guns, which is clean-ish,
Yeah, cleanish music.
inspirational gospel, but you don't want to sell out. is what
Not
it- is
not
what it-
not necessarily saying sell out because I don't have no problem with singing anything else, but it's like my pull or my draw is not towards everything else. Like I don't
Right.
mind singing
You want to
white-
you want to stay true to your brand.
yeah.
Wait, actually, before I answer, what the question is exactly?
So the question is like, and I guess it would be a point of me knowing where my moral compass is, but
Right.
where do you draw the line between saying, because the industry kind of set up a specific way,
Right.
and for you to get your music out there, you have to kind of almost fit the industry look.
Okay, I think I could answer this question.
Okay.
I think this is a question where you have to look inside yourself and figure out where do you draw the line. So
so that's
you
a
understand
me-
what I'm
that's a
saying?
me thing.
That's a you thing.
Okay.
That's a you thing. So I just answered it for you, Kasey. So here's the
Well,
thing.
I
We get.
still-
Go ahead.
I still want to touch on it because he's asking a valid point. It's like, do you want to, this is what hitting, but I sing in this, which not hitting. I mean, the quickest thing I could tell you is look at voice. Voice started with voice. Most of voice music is clean inspirational music. It just have that element of
pretty much.
just have
That's
that
true.
element of jam down and wind up in it where he's kind of tastefully put it, but he still stay true to his guns. I think now is the best time for you actually because you have things like TikTok and all these things where you could make TikToks or give inspirational quotes or inspirational phrases or something with your music, and you'd kind of have to, I guess, you remember that what people sign up to is your brand and your story. And if your brand and story 1 minute saying you're here, but then you're dropping our next song singing something else, that's not true to your brand.
You're right.
So you kind of have to remember
You're
people
right.
signing
Same
up to
thing
you.
you pretty much said.
Yes, yeah. People sign up to you and what your story is, what how you reach here. What's your evolution like? You might start here, but then you might reach somewhere else. So you just stay true to your brand. Tell your story.
So let me ask you this question. Are you going to come back on our show to chat a little bit more in a couple months? He said thanks, by the way.
Oh, no problem. Yeah, sure. Why not?
I got to ask because...
Even though you give him a controversial topics and I have to deal with.
But
the backlash after, but-
listen, you won't believe. There are a lot of times we ask people these questions and they kind of humana, and they back off. I like the direct responses because I think these are conversations that need to be had, and people need to stop sidestepping and just say what it is. You know what I mean? So we could get along, get moving on it. So
I mean, do I think we have a lot of work to do locally still? Yes, so we have a lot of work to do still, but I think we're in a good place. So I'm not knocking it by no means. It's just we figuring it out.
So we have got to go, and I gotta let you go. You're probably gonna have breakfast if you hadn't already done, or brunch. But
definitely breakfast.
I appreciate you saying yes to coming back on the show in a couple months and just chat, because people need to hear from you. You normally don't talk a whole lot, right?
I mean, these days I have no choice but to. So it's changed now. I know you knew me when I was on mute.
Oh yeah,
Never to say
couldn't
anything.
get him to guess. He wouldn't say a sentence. I kid you not, serious. He would not say a sentence. And now I appreciate this, Kasey. Yeah. This, you know what? Before we come off the air, I gotta tell you, I was kind of like, gee, see how much he gonna talk? Is he gonna talk? But
one word answer. No, yes.
One word answers.
I wanna challenge Cole to find a song. You might have to pull it up on YouTube. Doggy Slaughter, Up in That Precision remix. This is I think this was the first project that Precision released as a Precision production, and this kind of started the whole remix / road mix thing with Precision. You might have to get on YouTube. I doubt you had that in your crate there.
You said Up in That?
Up in That, yeah, DAT.
You got it? You found it? He's still researching. He's still looking.
I know because
you know what? You got it?
I've never heard this one before. No, I don't. And this is what started your remix.
Right, if you don't have that, give me Exposed Road Mix.
You got that?
Oh, one of my favorite, Ella Crew.
All right, now here we go.
Yeah, Ella Crew was the name.
Here we go.
Wow.
We gotta go, but in a couple months we could bring you back on. Kasey, just reach out.
Yeah, sure, no problem.
I appreciate it.
Go get in the afternoon because this morning thing he ain't feeling anymore.
Go grab something to eat. This was a spectacular interview. I really appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. All right, take care, guys.
You too. Take care, Kasey.
All right.
Yeah. Wonderful interview with Mr. Kasey Phillips of Precision Productions. And before that, we had Miss Sandra Fatmi-Hall and Miss Thalia May of Kuttage, Artisan Cottage Boutiques in Trinidad and Tobago. We got to go. You can listen to this show in repeat mode on Soca Passion this evening from 6 to 8 p.m. Tomorrow on Island Beach Radio from 12:30 to 2:30. And it's on the YouTube channel archived. So you can hear this interview with Kasey again and again and again. Just press repeat. You all have a blessed weekend. Take it easy. Next week, we'll be right back here on the air, live on iTunes Radio with Mr. Nati Ramuta.